For my new project I played a little bit with the ESP8266 as a web server, and because I can't find a good tutorial or some good examples on how to control something while the mouse is pressed or while a button is touched, I have made one on my own. First of all, this was my first experience with HTML and JavaScript, so it might be a little bit ugly, but it works. I started with a blank Arduino sketch and I will show you how to control a LED with PWM over a website. First I included the ESP8266 Webserver.h. Then I defined the LED pins for the normal LED on and off pin 12 and for the PWM LED pin 2. Then I made two chars for the SSID and the password of the Wi-Fi. Now we'll have to create a web server that listens on the port 80. The next is the char array with the raw string literal, so you could easily write the HTML and JavaScript code. Let's make the HTML part and the JavaScript part. In the HTML part I created a box with two other boxes inside. One box is for the writing and the other box is the box we will listen to in the JavaScript part. Because we want to listen to this box, we had to give it an ID. I called it LEDN for LED normal. So now in the JavaScript part we had to add a event listener for the window. Then I created a variable called n for normal that gets the box by its ID. Next I created a new variable with the XML HTTP request, and now the onmousedown and onmouseUp listener and the event listener for touch start and touch end. In the listeners you can see I took the XHR variable to open a GET request and then I send it. In the GET request I defined a string called LED on and LED off. That's what we will later listen to on the server. The GET requests do the same like writing something in the address bar. For example, if you write the IP /LED on or /LED off, it will do the same like touching or clicking on the box. And that's it for the JavaScript and HTML part for turning a LED on and off. Next I created a bool variable called LED and two functions called LED on and LED off. In these functions I set LED to 1 or equal to null. Then we have to create a function that handles the routes. It will serve the web page from the server. In the setup I set the pin mode of LEDN to output and initialize the Wi-Fi and its IP address so we can call it over the web browser by writing 2.2.2.2 if we are connected to the ESP's Wi-Fi. Next I set server begin and let the server listen on /LED on and /LED off. Then I initialize the variable LED to null. In the void loop we have to call the handle client function so that the server can register our input on the web page. Next I call the digital write function with the parameters LEDN and the LED variable. So if the LED variable is set to 1, the LED will turn on, and if it's set to null, the LED will turn off. Now let's take a look how we can control the LED from a mobile phone. For the PWM part I copied the box 2 times, renamed the writing and the IDs to PWM- and PWM+, so we can listen to them in the JavaScript part. Now let's create two new variables called minus and plus, and let's get the two new boxes by its IDs. Now let's copy the two listeners two times. We have to change the variable names and we have also to change the GET requests. In this case we will call three different functions, one called minus, one called plus and one called stop. Because we won't need two separate stop functions for the PWM, we can call the same stop function. For the pulse width modulation I created two new variables called PWM and PWM count and three new functions plus, minus and stop. In plus, PWM is set to 1, in minus to -1 and in stop to null. In setup we have to call three new server on functions for minus, plus and stop that will call the functions minus, plus and stop PWM. In loop, I set PWM count to plus equal PWM, so it will increase or decrease depending to what PWM is set. Because for PWM the range is between null and 1024, we have to make sure that PWM count doesn't get out of range. At last we have to call analog white with the other LED pin and PWM count. Let's now take a look how we increase or decrease the brightness of the LED from the mobile phone. Just for fun, I've made a little brick breaker clone that can also be controlled from a web page. I'll show it you. Links to download the sketches for the LED control and the game are down in the description. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye.